The iconic shamrock, incredible beer, or its prestigious universities are likely the first things that come to mind when you hear about Ireland. But did you know that 1 in 5 residents in Ireland is an immigrant? In just over a decade, they will outnumber the native population. Why is this figure so high? And more importantly, why has Ireland, one of Europe's most culturally advanced and wealthy countries, decided to implement harsh measures against immigration? How did it come to this? The current situation of massive immigration in Ireland is the result of a series of historical, economic, and political factors that have evolved over recent decades. Historically, Ireland was a country of emigration, with millions of Irish leaving the island during the 19th and 20th centuries due to poverty and famines. However, this trend reversed in the 1990s when the Irish economy began to grow rapidly, particularly with the rise of the Celtic Tiger in the 2000s. This term describes the period of rapid economic growth in Ireland from the mid-1990s to 2007. During this time, Ireland experienced a significant increase in GDP, employment, and living standards, driven by foreign investment, particularly in technology, financial services, and favorable economic policies. The Irish economy expanded rapidly due to a combination of low corporate taxes, a young and educated workforce, and integration into the European Union's single market. However, this prosperity also led to a housing bubble, which collapsed in 2008, marking the end of this period. Additionally, the expansion of the European Union in 2004, which incorporated 10 new member states, played a crucial role in increasing immigration to Ireland. Citizens from these new member states, along with those from Romania and Bulgaria, began arriving in large numbers. Between 2004 and 2008, EU immigrants accounted for 44% of the migration flow to Ireland, dominating non-Irish immigration at the time. The 2008 economic crisis temporarily slowed immigration, but the country continued to receive a significant number of asylum seekers and refugees, especially following the European refugee crisis in 2015. But what are the causes of this massive immigration? One of the main causes occurred on February 1, 2020. Brexit. This event in the United Kingdom has brought various consequences for Ireland. Firstly, many European citizens who previously would have chosen the UK as a migration destination have considered Ireland an attractive alternative. The Republic of Ireland remains a member of the European Union, offering the advantages of free movement and the rights associated with European citizenship. This legal immigration is not a significant issue, as these are European citizens who find work within weeks, thus contributing to the national economy. However, the most devastating consequence of Brexit has been its impact on illegal immigration and borders. This referendum has raised concerns about border control between Northern Ireland, part of the UK, and the Republic of Ireland. Despite the Good Friday Agreement establishing an open border, differences in migration policies between the EU and the UK can complicate the management of illegal immigration. Now, how is Ireland's capital experiencing this situation? If the situation in the country is confusing, the scene in Dublin is downright desperate. While the British government implements new and stringent immigration laws, which could see asylum seekers deported to Rwanda within weeks, Ireland is receiving the overflow, with the capital being heavily affected. Parts of the city are transforming into makeshift refugee camps, with ghettos and marginalized neighborhoods dominated by these individuals. In this city, the police have clashed with protesters who see their government as more concerned with the needs of newcomers than with their own citizens struggling to make ends meet. After various interviews with some of the immigrants, a common factor and reason for this movement emerged. They all believed Ireland was their last resort, their final chance at a life in Europe. Is Ireland becoming Europe's backdoor? How much longer is it willing to endure this? There is another crucial factor that few are considering: the war in Ukraine. Since the war with Russia began, Ireland has received a considerable number of Ukrainian refugees. The Irish government has taken steps to accommodate these individuals, providing housing, social services, education, and employment. While this has put pressure on public resources and services, it has also demonstrated the incredible solidarity and support of the Irish community. However, this influx of Ukrainian immigration, along with illegal immigration, has been viewed by a segment of society as a theft of their home, the home of the Irish, the home of the shamrock. The Irish government has had to find quick solutions to house refugees. This has included using hotels, vacant buildings, and creating new reception centers. While this has posed a logistical challenge, it has demonstrated the country's ability to mobilize resources rapidly. The Irish healthcare system has experienced an increased demand due to the arrival of refugees. Special programs have been implemented to ensure that Ukrainians receive adequate medical care, including mental health services for those who have experienced trauma due to the war. In fact, in the year ending April 2023, Ireland saw the arrival of approximately 140,000 immigrants, a 31% increase compared to the previous year. This figure includes 81,000 citizens from countries outside the European Union, with a notable contribution from Ukrainian immigrants due to the conflict in Ukraine. What is the UK's stance? The United Kingdom's stance on the massive immigration focused on Ireland has been a source of tension and controversy, especially post-Brexit. With the implementation of more restrictive policies by the British government, such as the proposal to send asylum seekers to Rwanda, many migrants have chosen to move to Ireland, where they perceive a less hostile environment. Ireland has received a wave of immigrants coming from the UK, which has put pressure on its asylum resources and services. In response, the Irish government is seeking to implement legislation that would allow the return of asylum seekers to the UK, based on a prior agreement between the two countries. However, the effectiveness of this measure is in doubt, as no deportations from the UK to Ireland have occurred since 2020. But how are the people experiencing this situation? What are they saying? The issue of illegal immigration in Ireland has generated varied reactions among Irish citizens, many with differing interests. Many are concerned about the impact this immigration could have on infrastructure and public services, particularly in areas such as housing, healthcare, and education. The shortage of affordable housing is already a significant issue in the country, and the arrival of illegal immigrants could exacerbate this situation, increasing pressure on the system. They are calling for an end to what they describe as a globalist agenda of open borders, demanding a new nationalist government. Signs and chants of Irish Lives Matter and Invasion Under Siege dominate the protests. Some Irish citizens also express concerns about security and cultural integration, fearing that an increase in illegal immigration could lead to social tensions and a lack of community cohesion. This group often calls for stronger border control policies and more efficient management of asylum applications. On the other hand, there is a segment of the population that shows empathy toward immigrants, recognizing that many are fleeing difficult conditions in their countries of origin. These citizens advocate for a humanitarian response, calling for a fairer and more compassionate system that offers refuge and opportunities to those seeking a better life. Ireland, with the fourth highest percentage of non-national population in the EU, is now a hotspot for debates about national identity and resource allocation. The government is not spending billions to house migrants while many of its own citizens cannot afford basic necessities. Is this the future of Ireland's immigration system, a fragmented society embroiled in constant disputes and endless legal battles? The situation is complex and requires careful reflection and well-considered measures to address the issues without sacrificing the country's values and social cohesion. A similar situation is occurring in other countries like Denmark, where the situation worsens every year in the supposedly happiest country in the world. Don't forget to check it out and comment on what you think. I'll leave the link in the description, or you can go directly to my channel, where you can find many more videos like this. Don't forget to subscribe and show your support.